After being struck by lifetime bans, J.C. Sheldon and Marina Mabrey are now out here criticizing the league, claiming that Kathy Engelbert bribed them to remove Caitlin Clark. This cannot be made up. But hold on, things get even stranger. It turns out that the referees were also aware of it. Yes, these are no longer just poor decisions. Straight from the top, Kathy faking Engelbert herself was paying them off. The same woman who appears on television to discuss player protection and game expansion. Yes, she was out here like a boss of the mob, cutting checks, and Sheldon and Mabrey, two exalted role players who were unable to rescue their careers, concluded that playing dirty and earning money was the only way to remain relevant. Not that they were hooping in a jersey, they were out here performing hit jobs. Additionally, Caitlin was being texted by the referees for breathing too loudly and letting her elbows fly like it was the UFC. Now hurry up. That officiating is not horrible. It's a setup. This is no longer basketball. Sneakers are corrupt in this way. And because the WNBA was recently exposed in the most damaging manner, let's examine how far this goes. Not only play physical paid, as in specifically told to target the biggest star in the WNBA. The wildest portion comes next. They claim that no dubious outside influence provided the funding. The commissioner herself, Kathy Engelbert, provided it. Drama is no longer the only thing involved. This is top-down sabotage. They didn't simply stop with the players, which makes it more dirtier. They claimed that the referees were also complicit. The overlooked cheap shots, the missed calls, and the texts directed at Clark. All of a sudden, everything made sense. Have you ever witnessed such a league turn against its own star? What's the overall goal here? Really? Why would Kathy want the league's public face, Caitlin Clark, to be the target? There's a foul scent to it. The Indiana Fever versus Connecticut Sun game on June 18th was meant to be just another match, but instead it became a disastrous lesson in how not to run a professional league. By now, you have most likely seen the video. Caitlin Clark is direct poked in the eye by JCS Sheldon. Never twice. This wasn't just any bump either. It was vicious, filthy, and specifically targeted at a dead ball. Marina Mabrey chose to throw Clark to the ground like it was WrestleMania just when it seemed like things couldn't get much worse. Who even does that, really? I have a question for you. What would happen if LeBron James was tackled during a timeout, in your opinion? DEFCON 1 would be the league investigations, suspensions, and press conferences. The WNBA, meanwhile, pretended that this was just another workday. Do you think that's correct? There was no rivalry here. There was no intensity here. This job was a hit, and everyone on that court seemed to be aware of it. This is where things start to go south. The refs who saw Clark get mauled and then gave her the technical that evening. Yes, it seems that they had some knowledge. They received payment based on conversations among insiders and hacked texts. The physical play wasn't merely approved by Kathy Engelbert. She allegedly encouraged the referees to ignore it, telling them to restrict Clark and keep the game nasty. When a player dominates the league, it's your responsibility to contain it. If this is accurate and everything seems to be in order, then poor officiating is no longer an issue. We are discussing corruption a concerted internal takeover. Do you recall when Sheldon got to poke someone in the eye and leave after Clark was reprimanded for excessive celebration following a game-winning 3? Have you ever watched a game and thought it was rigged because it felt like it was rigged? How did Sheldon and Mabrey react then? Oh, this will be a hit with you. Marina Mabrey was seen on camera making fun of fans, calling people delusional, and laughing at the whole thing as if it were a joke. She also pretended that it was just another Tuesday. She had no regrets. Not that she was defensive. She was quite brazen about it. She also claimed that people couldn't handle the truth when they asked for accountability. Additionally, J.C. Sheldon became extremely quiet, as if every word, not even a repost, had simply vanished into thin air. JC, why the silence? Did someone tell you to keep your mouth shut? Or are you hiding? Then the bomb drops, lifetime bans. Not just for the violence, but because they talked, because they admitted it was all part of a broader plot. The word from the league, don't snitch. But guess what? The truth's already out and fans are listening now. You know who we haven't really talked about enough? Kathy freaking Engelbert, the WNBA commissioner. The woman who's supposed to be defending the league and its players. The one who goes on TV talking about empowerment and growth. But behind the scenes, she's supposedly cutting checks like a crime boss. She's the reason Clark got targeted. She's the reason the refs looked the other way. She's the reason Sheldon and Mabrey assumed they'd never get caught. Why would she do this? Basic power. Clark's popularity is growing so quickly that the league is unable to keep pace. Kathy wished she would slow down, show that the league isn't centered on a single individual. But guess what? At the moment, it sort of does, and she attempted to shatter it rather than accept it. Let's not pretend any longer. At the moment, Caitlin Clark plays for the WNBA. The figures are honest. Every week, she breaks attendance records, sells out arenas, and moves merchandise like it's the playoffs. The ratings dropped when she was hurt. 2.2 million people watched when she returned. One of the most in the league's history. Despite this, she is the one being attacked, ridiculed, and punished. Do you handle your superstar that way? Clark is more than just a skilled athlete. Millions of people are finally watching the WNBA because of her. Why, therefore, is she being viewed as a villain by her peers? The terrifying part is here. What message does it send if Kathy Engelbert remains in charge and this controversy is ignored? It conveys to players that they are expendable. It conveys to fans that the truth is irrelevant. It lets Caitlin Clark know that she is alone despite everything she has contributed to the league. And to be honest, she might go, do you really believe that Europe wouldn't give her the red carpet with much less drama, more respect, and higher pay? Here's the question. Then, how many fans accompany Clark while she walks? Look, basketball isn't the only topic of discussion here. Integrity and player protection are at stake here, about pointing out a system that is flawed at its most serious level. Kathy Engelbert should be fired if she actually bought off referees. And players too target Caitlin Clark. Not next season, not tomorrow. Now, since if the WNBA doesn't take immediate action, it will lose not just Clark, but also the confidence of all the supporters who had faith in this league. Now, I want to know if you think this was merely a coincidence. Was Caitlin Clark a ruse? Or what? Click like if you agree with Clark. If you believe that Engelbert ought to step down, please leave a remark.